Here is a little Lasko or Galaxy. I'm not sure which one it would have been branded. The tag is long gone. But it's a Lasko product from 1985 to 86. I think it's a 14-inch box fee in. Yep, 14-inch box. It's in pretty sad shape. Very, very dirty. And it does not work at all. Shows no signs of life whatsoever. I don't know if this is thermally protected. It probably was by 85. So it's possible that we have a blown thermal fuse. There's certainly enough dust in there to create that problem. Here's the informations. It's a PSC motor, or at least there's a capacitor in there. If there's supposed to be or not, I don't know yet, but 1 amp for a little 14-inch blade is pretty good. Even the big 16-inch oscillator fans were only 0.9 amps, and those are definitely PSC. So let's get inside this with a multimeter and see if we can figure out what's going on. This was a trash pick, so it quite possibly was used up until very recently and then discarded when it stopped working. I've heard these are not very good fans in terms of actual performance, but it's one of the few that would fit in the windows over here, and I think it would just look cool even if it just sat in the window being moved by the wind. One of the screws is missing. Definitely got some hours on it. That's funny. It says do not use in window. Missing a screw up there too. Switch is kind of messed up on this screwdriver. Alright, so there's our guards. We can just toss those in the dishwasher if I can get this to work. So, motor's not totally stuffed, but it's definitely, the areas that are exposed where the guard's not blocking it are definitely pretty bad. It's not a bearings issue, it turns freely. Or free enough to operate. So, the switch is bolted in with a bolt. Take the switch off, we'll get some measurements from the switch, make sure that's working. Actually, you know what? The easiest way to start this is going to be to take the noisy tester thing. This, plug it in and use this and see where the power stops. That should be the easiest way to do it. And once we find where the power stops, we will move over to the multimeter and start testing a little bit more precisely. It's non-polarized, which will be helpful with this particular test. So this should be high. You're kidding. It started working since the last time that... So there's got to be a loose connection somewhere then. Ain't that something? Oh yeah, this is a terrible fan. It hardly moves any or aerodynamics disaster. You can hear it's just fighting for air in there. Huh. Well, that's interesting. There's got to be... Why the heck would this... I don't know, it seems okay. Well, of course we'll have to go through this very carefully to make sure that everything is working the way it should be. But it... it works now. It's fixed. Cool. It fixed itself. Okay. That's kind of surprising. Well, it doesn't make for any interesting video, but I suppose it frees up my time to now do something else. Alright, so let's take this all apart here. I can't believe this all of a sudden just works. That's what the motor looks like. I want to check the power consumption actually. I didn't have the kilowatt meter connected. I'm curious as to how much power it actually draws. I'd be surprised if it drew more than like half of an amp. That's 52 watts, 0.46 amps, which is a lot of power for the amount of air it's moving. High, that's 54 watts, 0.51 amps. So the blade is not very good, at least not in a box, because you know all that extra speed, but hardly any more load on the motor. A 4-watt difference. I wonder if the blade would have worked fine outside of a box. I mean, it's pretty much just the regular D blade shape. Maybe there's too many blades. There are quite a few. There's 7. Although there were 7 blade form factors of the full-size D blade also. Although granted, those didn't work that well either. Well, whatever. It's still an interesting, cool-looking fan, regardless of how well it works. I can't believe that just... You know what? That's a whole... Let's leave that as its own separate video. And we'll call it A Vintage Box Fan Fixes Itself. And then I'll do a separate video for the cleanup, because I actually want to take apart a second fan and have two guards to put in the... 2 sets of guards to put in the dishwasher. It's kind of a waste of dishwasher soap just to clean those 2 little guards by themselves.